we work with a lot of communities. We have a particular program we call the Entrepreneurship Community Partnership, where we work with communities to help them set up leadership teams and basically make decisions at the local level. And one of the things that the Kansas Leadership Center training has helped me learn and put into practice more is the fact that that we need to teach them that being successful in leadership is about developing processes, not projects. In many communities, they think that if they fix a building downtown or do some specific project that is going to turn around their community. And one of the things that we've learned through the training is that it's as much about process as content, and the fact that they need to set up processes for their entrepreneurs so that when they come into a community or when an entrepreneur is looking around trying to determine what kind of business they can open, that the community needs a process in place of assistance, not just concentrating on a specific project.
I now am able to engage unusual voices, and I love that part of it. You know, the usual voices are the ones who are usually the most vocal, we're on all the committees, etc., etc. Well, in my line of work, I've been tasked to get volunteers to go out and take information or health education information into the community. And so I'm looking for those voices that are not normally heard. Different languages, they're different ages, and they have different vocations. And some are like very dressy, and others are not so dressy, tennis shoes, jeans, and a t-shirt, but they're reaching their peer groups. And so on multiple levels, we're getting feedback from those different people. And I think trying to engage those unusual voices has been absolutely wonderful, a wonderful tool for me.
Recently I had the chance to speak before the Kansas Commission on Rural Policy Commission, and one of the things that I now emphasize when I'm talking to decision makers, policy makers, is that we cannot have technical solutions to adaptive problems. Now, I don't come out and use that language, but what I do talk about are the facts that we can't think about solving rural issues in rural communities on a project-by-project basis, and that anyone in policy making needs to think about processes. What processes are we putting in place, not what projects are out there to work on.
In just 5 days, the group was able to peel back so many layers, protective layers, I would say. So many layers of our personalities, even down to our character. And we came to a point where we were like a very tight-knit group, crying for one another, with one another, empathizing. It was wonderful. So in just 5 days, we did that, and that was amazing. My moment where I had the most angst and anger, and I was so upset when someone said, "Pamaline, I prefer you defer." And I was like, I am not deferring. And I was so angry because I wanted to be heard, and I think it was Marty Linsky that from the back of the room said, "Pamaline, you're doing it again." And I swung around and I said, "I'm doing what?" And he says, "You're doing all the work." And I looked back around the room, and people were leaned back and in repose and just kind of comfortable and watching everything like a ping pong match, you know. And I thought, you know what, I am. So from that moment on, I determined that that is my default behavior when I get in groups. I just want to get in there and get it done. And I just try to get all of it done. If nobody's going to participate, I'll be the one participating. But since that time, I have tried to allow others to take ownership of their part of the work.
Our small group doing some discussing different issues, and I had it in our organization specifically. We were looking at some specific initiatives that I shared with the group, and after listening on the balcony during that time and listening to what our group shared about me, about the organization, I actually decided to not move a specific initiative forward, and in turn it opened up a wide variety of resources that I would have targeted to a specific area that really just wasn't needed at the time.
Get in there, acknowledge that you will have biases, acknowledge that to yourself, and acknowledge that you will be challenged, but also know that once you allow yourself to participate in the process and to do the work, that you will benefit tremendously. Tears and all, the layer peeling back, all of those things, challenges to our default behavior, all of that, getting on the balcony, getting off the balcony, allowing others to do the work, you will profit from this process. I can't say that enough.